Greetings from Spark. This is the third and final part of the series of videos I am doing on inculcating human values from egocentric to ecocentric. In the past two videos, we have seen how our consciousness has degraded through the evolutionary history of the Homo sapiens and how currently we have realized that we need to transcend this degradation. And so in the second part of the video, we were involved in a method of deconstruction of our consciousness from the current stage to a desired new stage. Now we will talk about basically the knowledge that is required to go to the next step or the next level of consciousness so that we can slowly ascend to the highest level. So this is a three-step process of learning where we are, unlearning what we have learned, and relearning something that is going to be new and vast knowledge that is available to us today. So with these three steps being defined, I have talked about the first two being degradation and deconstruction. This particular part of activity of relearning is called dissemination. Dissemination is usually defined as broadcast or spreading, which is normally an outward flow. But in this case, the vast knowledge that is available around us and the perception of which we are given the capacity has to be taken in. This is the process of an inward transmission from an outward source. With these definitions, we will look at what is basically needed as the first step. As the first step, we need to understand the structure of the ecosystem. Because in the past, we had a very simple relation to the ecosystem. I have attached an image which will show how our relation to ecosystem has to move in terms of what our actions and our responses are to be. And you can see that we have moved from simple to the complicated to the complex, and now we are moving towards a chaotic system, highly non-linear. This is why we have today a very careful appraisal of sustainability in terms of whatever action that we take. Global climate today is a clear example of why we have created such a vast problem because of our total negligence of the consequences of our action, like greenhouse gas. So we are now in a position to address this change because of the vast amount of knowledge that is available to us and build up a proper response. To do this, we need what we call as a holistic mindset or integral mindset. People have been spending a lot of time, especially cognitive scientists and educators have been spending a lot of time trying to understand how we have to respond. Howard Gardner, a professor in Harvard and a cognitive scientist, and also an educationist, he has come up with what we call as a 5 minds model about 10 years back. He says that every human being has to have these 5 minds if he wants to be a proper and useful person in this world, especially if you want to be a proper leader, decision maker. These 5 minds, he called it as disciplined mind, a synthesizing mind, a creative mind, a respectful mind, and an ethical mind. Today, most education institutions and universities are addressing only the disciplined mind. and a few in the last couple of years have moved towards the synthesizing and creative mind, especially like, for example, the T-type student development, which has been an initiative in the US, is addressing education towards not only a specific discipline, a vertical dimension, but more towards a horizontal dimension of many disciplines. Peter Drucker, our famous management guru, said any future leader must have knowledge in at least 4 disciplines. So these are things that we are now being able to have in our hands so that we can address how to move forward. And science and discoveries are coming to our help. I would just like to point out 3 areas which has got a great impact on our knowledge base, which will empower us to move forward towards our higher level of consciousness. First is cosmology. From a pre-Copernican era, today we have excellent observational tools, both in terms of ground-based telescopes as well as the orbital telescopes like Hubble. It can see in visible spectrum. We also have satellites which see in the infrared, ultraviolet, and X-ray. The composite picture that we put together gives us a fantastic view of what the cosmos looks like. We live in a cosmos which has got trillions of galaxies, each galaxy having billions of stars. Most stars have planets. This gives us the depth of knowledge of our existence. We have a Kepler telescope which had been launched about 20 years back, which is looking at a very narrow segment of the Milky Way. And what we have found is more than 6,000 planets, out of which nearly 100 are in the habitable zone of their star. And we have some of them which look very much like the Earth. So this is what cosmology is opening up and giving us a better knowledge and understanding of our own selves. We have the next subject which is very important, which is giving us excellent information, is nature of reality. Nature of reality today has been completely changed from a Newtonian classical realization to the Einsteinian relativistic realization, and now we have the quantum world in which we find that our ordinary concepts of reality are all absolutely shattered. I will just mention about quantum physics here because there are 2 attributes which are very important for us to have a deeper knowledge of our own selves and our own concept of reality. The first is the attribute of superposition. Any particle can exist in 2 different states at the same time. For example, if a particle is spinning upward, it is also spinning downward. And only when you make an observation, the spin goes to a specific value. This gives us an idea of our reality is fully rooted to our consciousness, the observer consciousness. Next, the property of entanglement, which is very important from a spiritual perspective. Entanglement is a property by which any 2 particles coming from the same source, like for example 2 photons coming from a single laser source, even if separated over thousands of kilometers, behave in a very complementary entangled way. If one photon is spinning upward, the other one is spinning downward. If you change the direction of the spin of the first photon locally, then the other one also changes. So this completely shatters the principle of special theory of relativity, because the special theory of relativity states that you cannot have anything traveling faster than the speed of light, 300,000 kilometers per second. But here we have a communication, instant communication, even across vast distances. These are experimental proofs of what is happening. So the nature of reality is highly limited. The human perception of reality, objective reality, is highly restricted. And even today, leading scientists and academicians like Donald Hoffman says that our reality is given to us purely from an evolutionary need. What man needs is given, not the absolute reality. These are some things which are totally different, which we didn't know about 20, 30 years back. So these are helping us to move forward in our consciousness evolution. Finally, I would like to talk about consciousness itself. Consciousness, which was a subject of metaphysics in the past, is moved to mainstream academic studies now, and we are trying to probe deeper and deeper into the nature of consciousness. And the interconnectedness of consciousness right across the cosmos is very important. I'll just give you two examples from experiments that have been done. There is an institute called Institute of Noetic Science in California, of which I'm a member. And in the last 15 years, I have been in touch with them, looking at the resources they are putting out on consciousness and experimentation on that field. What we found was the following. There are two satellites in geostationary orbit. One is in the northern hemisphere, the other in the southern hemisphere. They are measuring the Earth's magnetic field continuously and downloading the data periodically to NASA servers. On a particular day in 2001, we found that the magnetic field of the Earth shifted quite radically. The magnetic field can shift only when there are heavy sunspot activities. But that day there was no sunspot activity, yet the magnetic field shifted. And what we found was the time and the date was on 11th of September 2001, the day the Twin Tower was attacked. The global consciousness and the increased anxiety shifted the magnetic field of the Earth. Hardly believable, but this is true. The second one in 1972, the Maharishi University did a experiment of group meditation in Washington DC area. Group of meditators were given a task of reducing the crime rate in Washington DC, and the result of it you can see in the graph I have attached. The crime rate dropped by 23%. All this points out to the interrelatedness and interconnectedness of consciousness among everything that exists today. We don't have time for going into much more details and what we are finding in the animal kingdom, plant kingdom on nature of consciousness, but that is a very big subject. But I can leave this information with you that we are interconnected with everything. If so, and if entanglement says that everything that comes from the same source is entangled, we all came from the Big Bang. If we all came from a singularity of the Big Bang, we are all connected. So why this separation? Why the ego separates? It's because of our consciousness, limited consciousness. So let us transcend this boundary, go beyond, and travel towards the great ecosystem that is available to us, wherein we find the true spirit of the divine. Thank you for listening and watching.